when we woke up. We were bored, you know, didn't have nothing to do. It was actually my idea to take the boat in the ocean. We can paddle it, I'm sure. You know, what can go wrong?
Josh.
What?
Let's take the boat out today.
In the river?
Screw the river, man. Let's do the ocean. Shark fishing.
Troy, shark fishing.
Troy was just, you know, like a younger brother to me. You know, he stayed probably the whole summer at my house.
Come on, man, be great. Get your new pole, get in the boat on the sea, catch a shark, you're set.
The best thing about Josh is he'll always be your friend. Once he commits as your friend, you know, he's gonna have your back. He'll never leave you.
Let's go fishing.
What's the matter with you? Well, here she is. My baby.
First time I saw the boat, I laughed because I was expecting, you know, something a lot nicer. It's a project, you know, it floats.
She's looking good.
Troy, do you want to go fishing or what?
Yes, I do.
Best friends, 17-year-old Josh Long and 15-year-old Troy Driscoll head off to Sullivan's Island, a popular fishing spot just off the coast of South Carolina.
The weather was great. The part of the beach that we put in was actually very calm.
Josh has only just finished rebuilding the boat. It has no engines or sail and is completely untried at sea.
We actually never used the boat before we put it in the ocean.
What's with the wetsuit?
I know, in case you might want to swim or something. The water's still a little cold.
What are you, a baby?
What you say?
Nothing.
The two boys have fished the waters around Sullivan's Island many times before and have no concerns.
We just plan on being out there, you know, just for a few hours and then going home, you know, and getting ready for school the next day.
You ready?
Yeah.
After 3. 1, 2.
No, wait! I forgot the bait.
Troy, this is a fishing trip.
I just had my cell phone in my pocket, and my dad's real straight about cell phones, and you know, he was paying for mine at the time, and I knew I wasn't gonna mess it up. So I just put it right back in the truck.
You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, boom! Row, row, row.
We kind of got an idea of, hey, let's go paddle between those sandbars over there. You know, sharks and fish probably get in the gullies because it's 2 sandbars.
And everything seemed good. We were making good leeway. You know, he was paddling on the front and I was paddling on the back.
I was having fun. I was bouncing up and down.
Wow, man! Whitewater style.
But in their excitement to go fishing, the boys don't check the Coast Guard warnings. There's a powerful riptide forecast for that morning, right in the waters where they're paddling.
And we were almost to the sandbar when we just got hit by the current.
Hey, we're drifting.
I figured it was a joke, you know. So I was enjoying the moment. I was, hey, this is fun, you know, we don't have no control. You know, hey, this is great.
Wow, man!
But, you know, Josh then grew real serious real quick.
No, no!
What's the matter?
The car, we need to get out of here. Go, man, go.
I knew we were in a current, and then I realized that, you know, we were actually going backwards. So, you know, I tried paddling harder.
And the harder we paddle And the more energy we burned, it seemed like we weren't getting nowhere.
The boys are fully caught in the riptide, and it's dragging them away from shore and out to the open ocean.
When I realized how far we went in such short a time, I was like, this thing is really powerful.
Wow, keep going! Still going out! All right, stop. Drop here. Yeah.
Well, we threw the anchor out, trying to get it to hook onto something, you know.
It wasn't doing its job. I mean, it wasn't anchoring us or holding us in one position. Sure enough, we just kept drifting further out. It was no match for the current.
Paddle, Troy, on!
Oh, Josh, man, my arms.
Come on, Troy!
I don't think it's working.
Keep going!
You know, there's a bunch of people out there running and, you know, jogging and walking.
Hey! Hey! Over here! Hey!
And we were hoping that one of them would have seen us.
We tried to get their attention, but nobody, you know, heard us. We were already that far out.
It's taken just minutes for the boys and their tiny boat to be dragged hundreds of yards out to sea and into serious trouble.
We both talked to each other and saying, we're not going nowhere. This isn't helping. We got to do something different. We got to come up with a different plan.
We gotta do something.
Stay here.
What are you doing?
So I put the top of my wetsuit on, I put my fins on, and I started swimming.
Josh's plan is to swim to the sandbar with the anchor rope and then pull the boat to safety. In a panic, Troy also tries to swim for the sandbar, but straight away feels the force of the current.
John!
I was almost there, and then I look back and see Troy struggling.
It feels like something's trying to just pull me under. You know, I just feel all my energy being sucked out of my body. And once you run out of energy and you can't swim against it, it has no mercy. I mean, it's gonna kill you regardless if you like it or not. I just told Josh I can't do it.
I went under again!
We were being pulled out to sea at a very fast pace, and couldn't do anything about it.
Just 20 minutes after setting off on an innocent fishing trip, the two schoolboys' day out is going badly wrong as they're dragged out into the Atlantic Ocean. Alone in a tiny boat, they have no water, food, or mobile phones. And their ordeal has only just begun.
John, get him!
Just kill me.
Troy, we're gonna come get us soon. Don't worry, okay?
I told Troy, I said, well, you know, they're gonna come look for us. They're gonna find us. So I was like, you know, and I told him, I said, I'm just gonna fish, you know, while we're waiting.
Shark fishing. Come on, man. Give me my new rod.
Right as I got the pole rigged up and I stood up to cast it, a wave hit the side of the boat and knocked me over, and I knocked over my brand new fishing pole in the water.
No, my new pole! No!
He lost his brand new pole, and that really ticked him off a lot, and he pretty much lost it.
Stupid fishing trip! My new rod!
Everything I did was getting, you know, screwed somehow that day. It was definitely one of my temper tantrums.
Whoa, cool it, man. Yeah, this isn't gonna help, is it?
Shut up, man.
I knew he lost a fishing pole, but that was the least of my worries. You know, I was like, hey man, listen, this isn't what we need to do right now. You don't need to be cussing. You don't need to be throwing stuff. You know, we need to be here as a team. You know, we came in it together, and we were gonna go out together.
Crazy, man. You're losing your mind on me.
Sorry, man.
Crazy.
As dusk falls, and with no sign of rescue, the boys begin to take stock of their situation.
Josh? What? When are they gonna come?
I don't know, Troy.
How will they find us?
I don't know.
But they don't know where we are. What's gonna happen then? We're just gonna drift around in the ocean at night? Yeah? Yeah. Shut the hell up.
You know, I was telling him, I was like, Troy, we've only been out here for, you know, one day. I said, they're gonna realize tonight that we didn't come home, and they'll be out here the next morning.
Okay. Okay.
I knew it wasn't good, you know. We don't see land, we don't have a cell phone, and we don't have food or water, but it's the first, you know, couple hours into the trip, so somebody's gonna realize, okay, the boys are not home, something's not right, and we need to go look for them.
They're coming. I know they're coming.
The boys haven't been seen for over 10 hours. And back on shore, Josh's father calls for help.
Hello, is that the Coast Guard station? I want to report my son and his best friend missing.
They were saying, where did the boys put in at? That was their first question. They want to know where, what the description of the boys and where they would have put the boat in.
I mean, we have no idea where they went. No, they didn't say a thing. Yeah.
The Coast Guard can't mount a search until they know exactly where the boat was launched from.
Okay, thanks.
So Josh's father now begins his own search to find where the boys might have entered the water.
I had no idea where the boys were at, and very, very concerned that we haven't heard anything, no calls, and we kept searching until past 4 o'clock in the morning.
Josh's father first checks the river, where he believes the boys have gone fishing.
No, Connie. I checked the river, but nothing.
Finding nothing there, he also checks the ocean shore, close to Sullivan's Island.
I went out on the beach. I walked until I stopped probably about 100 yards from where the trailer was. But his car was black. So, I mean, I drove right past it, didn't see the car.
With no sighting of where the boys have launched, no search is mounted that night.
Hi, Debbie. What? What, they're not going to launch anything tonight? Or anything at all? Really? All right.
Out on the ocean, the two boys are still... The boys have now been out at sea for over 5 days, and with no food or water, are in the most extreme stage of dehydration. They've lost pints of water, over 20% of their body fluids. Their vital organs are shutting down, and they're drifting in and out of consciousness. Few people ever survive this long without water.
My body hurts.
I didn't want to be there no more. I didn't want to be out in the middle of the water. I was suffering, and it was a slow death. I was ready to go home to God.
Stop! Stop it!
I can't take this anymore.
Come on.
It's not right.
All right?
Even though Josh tries to stay strong for his younger friend, he's also battling his own demons.
Josh? Josh? Josh?
We didn't believe in suicide, but I was just swimming in the water. I just was like, if I went down as deep as I can go, you know, I swam down probably about 35, 40 feet.
Josh? Josh! Josh!
If a shark grabs me, don't try to save me. I was like, just let him eat me. I'm not gonna put up a fight. And then I thought, you know, what I might lose, you know, what I'm missing out as far as growing up and how my family's gonna move on without me. All those emotions run through your head.
Josh! 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 What are you doing?
I came back to the surface and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna let God go when he wants to because I can't do it.
I would go back and forth the whole time to hang on to hope, but also realizing that they might be gone. And that was a struggle, and not knowing they were out in the water, knowing that if they're out there, what is the condition? If they're not out there, and if they're gone, you know, how long before we can bring a closure to this? Every night when I would come home and drive down the street, someone in my neighborhood lined the entire street with bags with candles in them. So when I drove home, it took me right up to my house. The bags and the candles were out every single night. I was going to have to get ready for what I thought would be the memorial service once the bodies were found.
When you get back, forget to work on my truck. So when you're 16, I teach you to drive.
Towards the end of the week, you could tell he was starting to get real weak. He really had nothing left in him. He didn't want to hardly move. Basically, I keep trying to wake him up because I thought, you know, I really didn't want him to die.
Trot. Trot.
I didn't want to be in the boat no more. I want to be dead. I just simply asked Josh to kill me.
You kill me, will you? Stab me, put an end to
You're
this,
talking
please.
crazy talk.
I'm done.
I can't.
Sure.
I can't do it, man, never.
Troy asked me if I would stab him. And I just told him that there's no way I could do that. Because if Troy had died, I wouldn't be able to come home, even if they did find us. Because I couldn't go home and tell his parents that I let their baby boy die.
Come on.
Troy has now completely lost the will to live. His best friend won't kill him, so he tries one last desperate attempt to put an end to the ordeal.
See that?
Every night you'd see like little glow-in-the-dark little balls, and they're called jelly balls.
Troy now sees the jelly balls as not only something to eat, but a possible way out.
If it's poisonous, you know, and it kills me, hopefully I die a peaceful, you know, a peaceful death. I wasn't just gonna eat a little bit and get real sick and suffer even more. I was gonna eat a lot, and if they were poisonous, I was gonna go out on the first hit.
But the jelly balls have no effect. And now the boys can do nothing but await a slow, agonizing death.
We pretty much realized that we were just waiting on to die. We didn't know how much longer we'd be alive.
You're over soon.
Of course, we both cried, saying, we don't want to die yet. We're too young to die.
You know you're dying, but you're dying slowly, and it's painful, and it's long, and every second that you're alive, you're dying at the same time. I knew I didn't have much longer.
In fact, their dehydration is now so advanced that they literally have only a few more hours left to live.
You should write something down.
Summoning the last of their energy, the boys scratch out their final goodbyes to the families they're leaving behind.
We loved them, and we're sorry, and I thanked everybody for their support. And basically just said that I'm sorry for what happened.
I remember writing to my mom and my dad, specifically saying, thanks for everything you've done for me. Thanks for teaching me what you've taught me.
The two schoolboys are staring into the abyss. They've given up on life and can do no more than await death's final call.
Josh, I hear something.
Well, as me and Josh laid in the boat, I heard the roar of a boat again.
It's getting louder. Well, it's like it is yet. It's getting closer.
I see this huge fishing boat coming straight at us. So at that time, I, jerked Josh. I was like, you gotta get up.
Josh, help us! Hey! Help me! Help us! Please help us!
I was crying, but at the same time, it was like I wasn't crying because I had nothing to cry. I was just screaming, hey, please help us. Please, we need help.
Over here! Help! Come on! Over here, please!
The two boys are just a speck in the ocean. But unlike the boats on previous days, this time they've been spotted.
So basically, we knew they saw us. We kind of just started, basically just gave each other a huge hug, and we're like, this is a miracle, I can't believe we're actually getting saved.
Come on, guys. One at a time.
The captain reached over and, pulled me up because I barely had any energy to get up. And, I flopped on the deck.
Need some water. There you are. Get you up here. You okay? You okay?
I couldn't understand them because they were whining, whimpering, happy, sad, the whole 9 yards. But one of the first things that Troy said to me, he asked me if I believe in God. And I said, well, yeah, I guess I do now. Because miracles happen.
Some water with you. Some water.
right, thank you, man. Thank you. Got you, man. You're safe now. You're safe. So lucky. Yeah. Better now, huh? Catch me through to the Coast Guard.
Hello?
It was the Coast Guard. And he said, "We have your son. Would you like to speak with him?" And I said, "Put him on." And when I first heard his voice, it didn't even sound like Josh. It sounded so weak, and he was so incredibly weak. But he started saying, "Dad, I love you." And to hear his voice, it was a true miracle. There's no doubt in my mind that it was a true miracle.
Doctors believed that the two boys were within hours of death when they were rescued.
He looked so thin and so exhausted, but he just, from the moment I walked in the door, he was just, "Dad, I love you, I love you."
I love you too, darling.
It was hard to believe that we made it out alive. We were expecting the worst. Troy and I knew we were just waiting on dying. And, I couldn't believe that we got a second chance.
Josh has used his second chance to become a family man. He married his high school sweetheart and now has a baby boy. Troy has gone on to fulfill his lifetime ambition to become a firefighter.
I have a lot of faith in my own self now. If I ever face anything that, might be difficult, then I'm not going to give up.
I first skydived in college. Contrary to what a lot of people perceive skydiving as, is a bunch of crazy testosteronic nutbags. It's a very family-oriented sport. It's a beautiful bunch of folks who love the same thing, and floating through the sky, there's nothing quite like it.
Will Slattery and his two friends, Jimmy Simplicio and Manny Sanchez, are on a dream vacation, skydiving in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica is a great place to jump. The sky down there was absolutely gorgeous. It was blue, clear, beautiful. We were all jumping in shorts. It was just amazing, really comfortable skydiving. Just a really good vibe down there. A perfect time away in this exotic tropical location. Jimmy was a really great coach, a really great teacher, a mentor to me. Manny was more of a friend. Manny actually used to wear this big jester's hat. It was quite funny.
Get drunk and do it again, I'm
yeah.
not going to take my hat off. No.
Will and his buddies have traveled to Costa Rica from California, where they're all members of the same skydiving club.
Elsinore Skydiving School?
You knock yourself out.
Giles Fabris manages the club and checks in with the guys, even if they're thousands of miles away.
Elsinore Skydive Club, Giles Fabris.
About Skydive Elsinore was the family of skydivers that live and jump there. The best group of people anybody could possibly ever meet. Fantastic family atmosphere between the skydivers, it really is.
What will I do with all this paperwork?
They were going down to Costa Rica to kick back, relax, do some jumps, enjoy the scenery, and generally just have a great vacation with a ton of skydiving in it.
Yeah, all right, you enjoy it. Cheers.
Hey, it doesn't get much better.
Good stuff.
Hey, listen. We're gonna chug. We're gonna chug. Slide back.
Hey, Bill, please, he's gonna talk.
It's a clear blue skies.
And wind in
Clear
your hair.
blue skies.
Yeah, wind in your hair except for mine.
The next day, Will prepares for his final day's jumping. And as always, safety is the #1 concern.
You check your gear over and over again. I'm probably more anal, so to speak, about that than a lot of other people, but I tend to check my gear several times to make sure that everything's in order. I'm an adventurous person, but I'm in no way a cowboy. I'm not going to do something that's going to kill me. People will tell you I'm quite conservative. If you pay attention to what your gear is doing and where things are supposed to be and keep them where they're supposed to be, it can be a very, very safe sport.
Hey, Will, you almost ready, buddy?
Yeah, man.
All right.
The guys have delayed the day's jump until the afternoon. There's been a storm in the morning, but by lunchtime, the skies have cleared.
Cloud's gonna blow over.
It was sunny, you know, some white clouds, but nothing stormy. Minus the intermittent clouds, things that day looked like they would be just the same as the day before.
Hey, Bradley, what's up, buddy?
So we all started getting our rigs together and getting our gear on to get ready to go skydiving.
Yeah, good to go.
Ready? Let's go, Jimmy, baby.
The plane we flew down there was a Cessna 206. It was a small airplane, smaller than probably most cars.
All right, my man.
Planes for skydiving are generally, they'll take out the seats. So it's basically an open compartment in the back, and we'll sit back to leg, you know, so kind of sit in a row so that we're packed in there nice and tight, you know.
Okay, blue skies, safe landing.
Fire up, baby.
Good group, ready? Yeah.
Nervous, man? You look nervous.
A little bit.
The atmosphere on board is light-hearted.
I was there.
But as the plane climbs, the weather begins to close in.
Within 5 to 10 minutes after we took off, we actually entered the clouds. And from that point on, for probably 20 minutes, we were in complete whiteout, meaning all around the airplane was white. We couldn't see the land, we couldn't see the ocean, we couldn't see anything.
Pretty thick, huh? Freaky.
A little bit unnerving, you know.
Will and the guys hold tight, obeying the golden rule of skydiving.
Skydivers aren't supposed to fall through clouds. It's just a matter of safety because people can get disoriented.
Sorry, guys, I thought we might find a break.
We were expecting at some point to come out above the clouds, but we just never did.
With no break in the clouds in sight, the guys decide to turn back.
Okay, guys, it's too thick.
It's just not worth taking the risk.
We were a little disappointed, but we all skydive a lot, so it wasn't a big deal, you know, we'd get over it. We're used to clouds and, you know, you don't jump through clouds generally, so it was fine.
But as the plane turns and makes its way back to base, they hit serious trouble.
Within 20 seconds after we started going into minor turbulence,
God, I hate this car.
it just got worse and worse.
Okay.
Then the plane started going into massive turbulence. I was definitely not a happy camper, you know. I didn't want to be in a little tiny plane flying crazily all over the sky.
No.
Seconds later, the plane begins to lose control.
The plane was just going haywire. It even started to tilt. I was on the ceiling, I was on the floor, I was on the ceiling, I was on the floor. I was frightened. At that point, there wasn't much we could do except ride it out or jump out.
With the plane now hurtling towards Earth, Will and his friends have no option but to take drastic emergency action.
And at that point, we all started going for the door, trying to get it up. It was the only thing we could do. It took us 4 tries to get the door open because we were being thrown about the airplane so much.
Come on!
Despite not knowing how high they are, and if they have enough time to parachute properly, they dive into the void.
Once that door was open, my butt was out of that airplane. I did not want to be there. I knew that. I trust my skydiving equipment. I trust my parachute, and I did not trust that airplane at that point. I just got out. 5 to 8 seconds later, my automatic parachute went off, which means I was going at a very fast velocity at about 700 feet. We were very low in very low cloud cover, and it was a shock to me. At that point, I looked around for my friends. I saw Jimmy under his canopy as well, going the other way quite a distance off, and Manny was under his canopy next to me, flying parallel to me.
Will is desperate to know that his old friend, Manny, is okay.
I kept calling out to him to try and get his attention so that we were coordinated on landing. But he never answered. He was just kind of limp, you know. His head was hanging down, and my assumption at that point was that he got hit by the airplane coming out. It occurred to me that he might be dead.
Just seconds after jumping, Will is now hurtling towards Earth at 40 miles an hour, with absolutely no idea where he might land.
The plane crashed in the water behind me, and I looked back and saw the tail of the plane sticking out of the water. I was in somewhat shock at that point.
Will has hit the ocean, still attached to his parachute rig, and he must act fast to avoid drowning.
If you land in water, you want to get your chest strap off so that you can take your gear off immediately and swim under the parachute. At that point, it was really about focus and trying to do the right thing, so if there's a chance of survival, that you survive. It took me 2 or 3 minutes, and that was a pretty scary feeling because you can actually get tangled up in the lines and drown.
On surfacing, Will's first thoughts of his friends. They've also dived out of the plane. One of them, Manny, seemed in serious trouble.
I removed my shirt and my shoes because I wanted to be able to freely swim over and find Manny. I felt the need to act fast because if Manny was unconscious, then it was important to get to him and keep his head out of the water.
Manny! Manny!
He wasn't answering me. I didn't see his parachute. I didn't see anything.
Manny! Is there anybody there? Don't worry.
So I swam around toward where I thought he would have landed. I didn't even see a lick of him.
With his friends gone, Will quickly has to face up to his complete isolation.
But it didn't make sense not to wave to it, so I waved a couple times, and then the log would roll over and I'd fall in the ocean. And that was a scene repeated over and over throughout that day. To have other human beings virtually so close, yet literally so far away, both gave me hope and was disheartening at the same time. I realized how insignificantly, physically, visually small I was in the ocean and how virtually impossible it was going to be for any of them to see me.
Hey! Help me!
California, his skydiving friends know that if Will is alive, his chances of survival are now extremely thin.
James, anything?
No. Getting nothing online.
Come on, someone's got to know something somewhere.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Even in Costa Rica, the ocean is cold. The ocean is pulling energy from anybody or anything that is floating in it.
A few boats down that way.
Let me see if I can find what I can online. Get you this one.
As time goes on, the chances of somebody surviving dramatically decrease.
It's a pretty big chunk of ocean, so our best chance is still the boats. Fingers crossed, yeah, let's keep hassling them.
Since the log was the only thing floating, I wanted to keep it with me. So I would try various techniques of pushing it forward and then swimming along to it and then pushing it forward.
But despite his efforts, Will knows he's still getting no closer to shore.
Initially in the morning when I woke up, I thought by noon I would be on the beach. And later it didn't quite seem that anymore.
Clinging to the log for 13 hours, Will realizes his last remaining lifeline is fast becoming a burden. Instead of pushing him towards land, it's riding the undercurrents and pulling him even further out to sea.
I thought that pulling and pushing the log along was really not increasing my progress. It was giving me something to float on, but it wasn't really getting me toward the shore.
The log that so far saved his life could also end up killing him.
It was the only floating thing I had besides myself. I mean, I'd slept on it. That tree saved my life.
He faces an agonizing dilemma. Should he let the log go and hope he has the energy to reach shore? Or should he hang on, praying for rescue?
I ultimately decided that the tree was keeping me in the same place, that I wasn't making as much progress as I could were I just swimming with my body. It was extremely difficult to let it go. I swam maybe 20, 30 yards away, and then I said, forget this, and I swam back to the tree and was very glad to have it back. To let it go was tantamount to saying goodbye to the one floating thing I had besides myself. You know, it seemed like it could be a very foolish thing to do, to let it go.
You're never gonna make it. Let it go. Just gonna let it go. Come on.
Will's hopes that the log will push him to shore are crushed. Even though he's totally exhausted, he knows he must let it go.
The third time I let it go, I just watched it go over the swells and go away from me.
Having let the log go, and with nothing to float on, Will's energy quickly runs out. He swallowed a dangerous amount of seawater and is now suffering from extreme dehydration.
The biggest threat at that point was my lack of ability to breathe any longer. I was very short-breathed, just and I knew that I could not last very long like that.
The effect of dehydration means Will's blood pressure is rapidly increasing. His pulse is racing, causing severe heart palpitations. If his body loses any more fluid, he could slip into unconsciousness and even die.
I'd taken on more and more and more seawater the whole time, which definitely exacerbated the effects of dehydration, as did the sun coming out, as did simply not having water.
Jesus.
I was thinking that within the next few minutes I was going to drown.
"3,000 miles away, Will's friends are desperate to find him.
I really wanted to know any piece of information that might give us an advantage in helping our friends. We found basic maps of Costa Rica and we looked at the weather data, and there'd been a large storm in the area. So it really told us that if the plane had crashed in turbulent weather, it had crashed in the ocean.
Now, we reckon with the way the current's going, they may even be further down the coast. We've got boats coming out here, and here.
So far, none of the boat owners they'd contacted has spotted Will. And after nearly 24 hours in the sea, he's running out of time.
When the sun came out, dehydration really set in, and I started hallucinating pretty heavily. I noticed a severe deterioration in my mental state to comprehend reality versus fantasy.
Will has swallowed so much seawater, his kidneys can't flush out the excess salt. His body is gradually shutting down, bringing on hallucinations.
I would think I saw a shark fin over here, and I would look over there and, and think I saw something else over there, and I knew that there were turtles there that can just slice you open and eat you, So those things were seeping in.
Will's ordeal has driven him to the edge of insanity, and his body is ready to give up the fight.
I just felt at that point that I had very little physical and mental energy to keep my head above the water. I had been in excruciating pain from the jellyfish. The swells had picked up. There was more and more water getting inside me. And I just felt at that point like the end was imminent, like it would be a very few minutes off.
He begins to say goodbye to the family and friends he thinks he will never see again.
I felt alone from other humans. I felt that I'd left, the other humans, the other people in my life behind. That part of my existence was over, and that I was going to die, and that I hoped that I'd done well in life, that I'd shown compassion and kindness to people, and that they felt that love, They say that your life flashes before your eyes when you're about to die. And very similar to the night before, I thought that death was imminent and very, very close. I felt that I'd left the other people in my life behind. That part of my existence was over, and that within a very few minutes I would be dead. I went vertical and I thought I saw a boat, but I was by no way sure. My mind was not together any longer. I was hallucinating heavily at that point. Either a boat was there or there wasn't.
Focus well. Focus well. Focus. Breathe. Hello?
I waved to them and yelled in Spanish as loud as I could.
Hello? Hello?
For them to have seen me was unlikely, so I laid back down in the water to await either drowning or rescue.
Having used up his last scrap of energy to wave at the boat, Will collapses in the water and awaits his fate.
I looked up and saw them, and I couldn't believe it at first.
Will has drifted miles from the search area, and by complete chance, he's finally spotted by passing fishermen. He's so close to giving up, his rescues come in the nick of time.
They said, come on, get on the boat. And I said, I can't. I had no strength, you know? And they all reached down, and it was just, I think, as much in shock as I was when the plane crashed.
Oh my God.
I just couldn't believe it, you know? It crashed in the middle of the ocean, and my fat, pasty butt made it through 24 hours in the ocean.
When I found out Will was alive, that brought a lot of joy.
Hey, guys. Guys, come here. It's him, look. It's Will. He made it. Wow, yeah. He made it. Yeah. Awesome. Come on. See? How did you do that? Oh, look.
He didn't just survive the crash, he survived the crash and he survived the bloody ocean.
I just literally said, oh my God, I'm invincible. And I collapsed onto the boat and held onto this guy's leg until we got to shore. Unfortunately, the search and rescue operation was looking in the wrong places. There were some Costa Ricans that were looking in the mountains. Others were looking in different parts of the ocean. So when they found me, they had a better idea of where my friends were going to be.
A report was made that there were more survivors found. As it turned out, that was misinterpreted information on the radio, and that there were no survivors found.
Over the next few days, the bodies and plane wreckage are pulled from the ocean. Will's friends, Manny Sanchez and Jimmy Simplicio, along with the pilot and remaining passengers, all perished in the crash. Will is confirmed as the only survivor.
Manny was this amazing, almost cartoonish, almost childlike, beautiful human being. And Jimmy really is the same, an enigmatic, amazing character, you know? Kind of a hard ass, but a really beautiful soul at the same time. Did we do the right thing by jumping out? You know, I mean, I did the right thing. Manny and Jimmy did the same thing as I did. We all made the same decision, so I'm comfortable with the decision we made.
After his 24-hour ordeal, Will spent 5 days recovering in hospital. He's still skydiving.
I love skydiving. I've done probably 2,000 jumps since the accident. The airplane was the dangerous thing there. My parachute saved my life.